What is up, everybody? Welcome to the very first video episode of the Severe MMA podcast betting show. I'm with Graeme here. Look at him right there. He can't see me, but I can see him and you can all see him. And we're going to talk to you about UFC 242. Not really sure how this is going to work. I'm just sitting here looking at him. I hope the sound is working. I hope the video is working. I hope you can see him. He's right there. So, Graeme, how are you? How are things?
Yeah, I'm good. We went through a bit of hassle trying to set this all up yesterday, but I think you've figured it out.
Possibly. There might be sync issues. There might be fucked up sound issues. But we have it anyway.
Blame Sean if there is.
Blame Sean. Yeah, you can blame me anyway.
Sean G and BA.
Yeah, Sean G and BA. Right, let's get straight into it, sure, and let's talk about the bets. What bet are you going to do? So, what's your first? I know your bets here. You come here. Actually, before we get into the bets, this podcast should basically be the We Get Bets Wrong podcast. I think like the last one, I think Steffi got 2 because she was on with me. I think she got 2 out of 3 right. I think I got 0 out of 3 right. I think you might have got like 1 out of 3 maybe. We're just awful, aren't we?
Yeah, I was kind of gone back to a more safer, well, in my mind, hopefully safer bets after a bad run there last betting podcast, and sometimes though, you know, you can get like I used to do this. You used to do it with me actually. It was on like this torrent website where you do like a competition, and I used to get about 70% of it right, and I think you were in around there as well for a while where you were doing it. But some cards you might get 11 out of 12 or 12 out of 12. Other cards you get 2 out of 12 where everything just goes crazy, and you just fights that you don't expect to go one way go the other, and that just sometimes happens. But it's probably a little safe by me this week, but
yeah, go on.
Give me a bit of hassle about it.
Give us your first one. So tell us about your even money bet.
I thought about it more, and like I think Felder really has to rise to the very best, and he's inconsistent. And I think Barboza's more consistent and has he's not really a one trick pony or one dimensional anymore. He has a few ways he can win this fight. So I think he'll win this fight. I'm not sure how he's going to win it. I think he could get a stoppage. It's probably more likely a decision, but I'm going to go with safety and go with just Barboza to win. So
your first bet, Barboza to win 7-4. I'll give you my first bet while I'm here as well, and we can discuss it together, I suppose. I'm going Barboza by decision at 23-10, so just over 2-1. It's a difficult one because it's funny, we both pick Barboza, which might suggest that we both have like a strong feeling for him. I don't really have a strong feeling for him, to be honest. I think he will win. I think the move to ATT will do him good. I think he needed that move. I think he needs someone who can game plan properly for him. Mark Henry, as we know, we've discussed many times in this podcast, really isn't that guy. And I think he'll be better.
Your boy.
My boy. I think he'll be better at ATT. I think, against Felder, it's funny, I said on the podcast this week, and I think I might have even said I picked Felder. I'm to and fro on this one, but I feel like Felder has gotten better since their first fight, and Barboza has regressed maybe a little bit, or not gotten, better. But I think this move might help him. I think the fact that he's already fought Felder might help him. And the reason I picked the decision is, I think it'll be a decision either way. Now, they both hit hard, someone could get knocked out, but I feel like it'll be a decision. And I just feel like if Barboza goes to decision, he lands big, hard strikes. He lands,
more flashy, kind of highlight reel, noticeable strikes.
Mm-hmm. And he lands an output as well. And I feel like someone who just stands and fights with Barboza, that's a tough fight for anyone. And I feel like Felder will do that. Do you think he will? Do you think there's any hope Felder actually goes and tries to take him down or anything?
Well, I don't think it's that easy to take Barboza down. Like, it's easy to look back at like the Khabib fight, for example, and think, oh, that's where you can get him. But he's always moving. He's never really a stationary target anymore, and he's become a smarter fighter. I think he kind of didn't have the best fight or the best day at the office in the first fight with Felder. I think Felder maybe fought up close to his potential, and it still went the way it went. It was a close fight, obviously, and I expect it to be a close fight again. But I think just Felder's just more inconsistent than Barboza. I think if anybody's going to finish the fight, it's going to be Barboza as well. But if Felder ends up winning the close decision here, I wouldn't be that surprised. But I do think it's a good price. Juan Barboza.
Yeah, I think the decision is a good price as well, 23 to. I'm a little bit braver than you, obviously. I'm not, sitting on the fence picking Edson Barboza. But however, let's get into my second one. And my second one is going to be Dustin Poirier at 3-1. I just have a feeling. I don't know why. I might be wrong, but I feel like Dustin Poirier is going to win. Why? Go on.
Because you're thinking Khabib's injured.
Yeah, I do think Khabib's injured. Actually, yeah, I do think Khabib's injured. I was on the fence about this fight. Go on.
Yeah. See, he may be injured a little bit because it's MMA. You go through a camp, you're going to pick up some kind of injury, or it may be just something to do with feeling weak with the weight cut and stuff like that. Because he does do mad stuff with a weight cut. You seen him with wearing sweat bags a week out and stuff, crazy stuff like that. I don't know if that's exact numbers on how many days out or whatever, but it's kind of caveman stuff going on in certain aspects of the weight cutting, it seems. So maybe it's something to do with that. And I think historically Khabib has pulled out of a lot of fights, a lot of fights. Up to the end, it kind of ended with they tried to put that Tony Ferguson fight together 4 times, and Khabib pulled out twice, and Tony pulled out twice. And even before that, Khabib was pulling out left and right. When he got a rib injury, he was talking about retiring. I don't think he's the kind of guy, from what we know historically about him, that is going to go into a big fight like this with anything that's going to actually, he thinks is going to affect him. And he's thought that small injuries in the past, relatively small injuries compared to some other injuries you could potentially have, he's pulled out with in the past. So I wouldn't say it's anything too bad. And I think that when we come onto my bet, I think that the price on Khabib to finish inside the distance is very good.
Yeah, the reason I think Khabib might be injured is because of just embedded. He's kind of hobbling around, and I do this the odd time. I watch embedded and I see lads injured, and almost always it comes out that they are afterwards. I said it with Jose Aldo. I said he was carrying a leg injury. It came out he was injured. I think Cody Garbrandt as well. I said it with him and it came out he was injured. And I was watching that embedded, and if anyone watches it, episode 3 or 4 maybe, where Khabib comes out of a taxi and he's hobbling a little bit, and to me it looks like he's trying to hide a hobble, if you know what I mean. And then it goes into the open workout, and I'm like, oh, I'm interested to see what he does in this open workout now. And he goes in and he does a Q&A. He doesn't do any open workout. So to me, that would suggest there might be an injury there. Now, I could be totally wrong, could be totally off the mark. There was also rumblings going around that the weight cut wasn't great, and he got on the scale this morning, and he didn't look great. Like Khabib never looks great. It's always a big weight cut, and the way he cuts weight as well. But injuries, everyone has to remember this always as well. If you have an injury, it's going to hurt your weight cut, because you know it's harder to get on the treadmill, it's harder to get on the exercise bike if you have a bad knee or something like that. Now, this is all purely speculation. I have no idea here, but I feel like I was on the fence about this fight because I think Poirier is a really good fighter. I think 3-1.
Back to the injury thing, I think this isn't like a McGregor fight where McGregor is a champion and Khabib might not get this chance again if he doesn't take this fight. I know it's in Abu Dhabi, but I don't think Khabib's one of these guys that if Dana's like, oh, you have to fight, bro, even if you're injured, he's just like, fuck you, Dana. He's not going to be one of these guys that just says yes or no, sir. You know what I mean? Yeah. Especially the Poirier fight. This is a big fight. I'm looking forward to this fight, but outside of the MMA world, it's probably not that big of a fight, and Khabib knows that his undefeated record and that potential McGregor rematch is huge money. I think if there was anything too bad wrong with him, bar just a normal camp injury or a normal bad weight cut that he seems to usually have, I just think he'd pull out.
Maybe, yeah. But I don't know. This is a big card for his part of the world. He's a lot of big fan base over there. Could he be taking Poirier a little bit easy? Could he be underestimating him? Could he be saying this is an easy fight, even injured, I can win him in? And now, again, this is purely speculation. Maybe we shouldn't even be talking about this, but I just have that feeling. And even if you leave that aside, I still think 3-1 for Dustin Poirier to win this fight straight up. It's a very good bet. Poirier is a very good fighter. I think he's a bad matchup for Khabib. Now, Khabib is a terrible matchup.
He's a very good striker, but I think Khabib's going to have to be hurt big with a big punch, and it's probably just a matter of time that he gets a takedown if you're standing with him. So you have to land that one big shot. And I don't know. Poirier can definitely do it. I know he can, but he's not really known for it.
He hits hard though.
Yeah, he does hit hard. But I just think Khabib's going to have too much. I'm assuming here that he's not badly injured just on historical precedent of him pulling out. So I just think he's going to have too much. And I think once he gets him down once, it's just going to take a lot of the pop out of those punches from Dustin Poirier and leave him with very little chance of landing one big finishing blow. But it's MMA and anything can happen. And there is like, you can go in there, just have a bad day at the office, and you can get sparked. So anything can happen. But Dustin Poirier is definitely a game fighter. Like sometimes these champions, like for example John Jones, fight somebody and the odds are wide, and you think, there's no chance, barring this is MMA, anything can happen. But in this fight, there is a chance. There is a more than MMA, anything can happen factor going on here. But I just think Khabib's style is a nightmare for nearly everybody, including Poirier.
One thing I want to say as well before we move on from this fight, I did the rewatch this week, McGregor versus Khabib. And a lot of people look at that third round and they say, there was a round on the feet, McGregor and the striking and what Khabib's striking was like and everything. But I think looking at that third round, you need to forget about the striking and you need to look at the clinch. And and this is the first fight, maybe we forget that a little bit sometimes, this is the first fight since McGregor versus Khabib. And I think if Poirier goes and learns the lessons from that third round and what McGregor did in that third round by isolating that left hand of Khabib and stopping him from grappling against him basically, and I think there was 4 attempts at a takedown against the cage. McGregor stopped 3, and on the 4th one he couldn't stop it because Khabib got in too quick and he got away from McGregor's ability to catch that wrist and get away. Like, if Poirier can do that for a round or two, I think that'd be huge. I think that'd be absolutely huge. I think Poirier's cardio is better than McGregor's, or McGregor at that time anyway. And if you can bring the pot with him.
Khabib does have a tendency to, like I've said this before, to his corner screaming at him, being like, stick to the game plan, this is not what we want, stop doing this, stop doing that. And if Poirier can, control that hand early and stop the takedowns early, then Khabib could just be like, fuck it, let's strike, because he does fancy himself as a striker. He's talking about boxing and all this crazy stuff as well. So yeah, that could happen. Like if Poirier can have some success stuffing takedowns early and land a couple of shots, Khabib could move away from his constant chaining of takedown attempts. He's not exactly like a Ben Askren who's just gonna jump at your legs all fight. If he can't get the takedown, he's gonna start striking with you, even if his corner is screaming at him to not.
That's 100% true. So my bet of that is 3-1 Poirier just to win straight up. What's your bet in that?
My bet is Khabib inside the distance, just under evens.
Yeah, how come you think that? Do you think he'll just take him down, beat him up, and by the 4th or 5th he'll tire Poirier out?
I think he just wears people out. His pressure on top, and he just grinds on people like nobody grinds on people. Like, we have people who in the past, like John Fitch, for example, who'll grind on you, but he'll just make it uncomfortable and annoying for you. Land the odd strike. Khabib will make it hell for you under there. He'll crank your neck this way, crank your neck that way. He'll squeeze your head as hard as he can. He'll just do whatever he has to make you as uncomfortable and to put you in awkward positions constantly, and just be relentless with his pressure on top, and that wears on you. You see guys who are known for having great cardio or never show cardio issues, and they spend a few minutes under Khabib and they look looking exhausted, looking beaten down.
Yeah, it's true. I saw actually Dan Hardy was on with Pizzi today on the live stream for the weigh-ins, and he was kind of talking about that from Poirier's point of view. Like, Khabib's going to do that to you for the first 2 rounds, so Poirier needs to be there come the 3rd and 4th round and take advantage of it. And I think that's something that fighters think about an awful lot with as pertains to Khabib, because remember, it was a bit foolhardy maybe in the fight, but Dominic Cruz said it in the McGregor fight. He's waiting for him, he's trying to tire him out, and Dominic Cruz like, I swear this was what he was trying to do. And if he was or he was, I don't think he was, but Dominic Cruz has said that now, Dan Hardy has said that now, I think a few other people have said it now as well. Maybe you take 2 rounds off against Khabib, let him take you down, and try not to take too much damage. But there used to be this thing about cardio as well with Khabib maybe not having the best in the world. The thing I think about the cardio is,
which is 5 rounds even fight. Output is no matter how good your cardio is.
Exactly.
Like if Nick Diaz or Nate Diaz in their prime was putting out that amount of relentless pressure, these guys are only human. They're going to get tired. And Khabib has got tired before in 3-round fights when he hasn't had it all his own way, but he knew they were 3-round fights. That's always, you kind of expend energy or you train for that or whatever, and he's more experienced now. If it does start going late, and Poirier can stuff the takedowns, then it's all to play for. But I just think there's probably a 1st round takedown coming more than likely, and if there is, I think that's pretty much that's pretty much it. As long as Poirier can't spring straight back up, he's gonna eat a lot of damage and get up without too much pop in his punches and spring in his heels.
Step. That's it. Right, let's move on to our third bet. We won't spend too much time on this. What's your third bet?
It's an accumulator of, let me just see now, Belal Muhammad and Andre Ali. Mm-hmm. Two big favourites, but there isn't too much on the card that stood out to me in terms of underdogs. Yeah,
that's around 4-5, 4-6. I'm actually going for the same, but I'm going Belal Muhammad, Andre Lee, and Curtis Blaydes, and that works out just over evens. So
at heavyweight, at that price is so low. I just thought I was looking at that as that's a nearly definite result as well. But just at heavyweight, it's a little bit less. There's a little bit more risk, I think. Yeah. I'm just being trying to be safe, but these bets will probably go 0-3.
Yeah, they probably will. Right, before we go, as we always kind of do in this betting podcast, a few outsiders. Is there anyone there who's maybe a bigger price that you'd look at? I suppose Poirier is the one for me.
Yeah, Poirier. Poirier's definitely one.
Shami as well, Shamil Abdirahimov against Curtis Blaydes. He's been known to push lads against the cage and lay on top of them and almost get shocks and stuff before. I don't think he will, but it's. What about Joanne Calderwood against Andre Lee? Is there any chance of that one?
Yeah, well, there is, because Joanna Calderwood can be very good when she turns up, but it's very rare that she puts it together. And I think she still has too many holes in her game, and but if she can get a clinch and start landing knees or something, it could be over very quickly, and it's a possibility, but I don't have much confidence in Calderwood anymore, to be honest.
Yeah, me neither.
I think mentally and putting it all together, she probably has all in the gym. Maybe she has all the components of MMA, but putting it together just seems a bit. She can't get her head around it, and then mentally, we've heard her talk in the past. It'd be hard for me to bet on her.
Yeah. See, I'd agree with that. Although you'd never know. But all right, I guess that's it. Actually, are you going to pay the €30 for? See, the price has gone up. They rose the pay-per-view price in Ireland. It's gone up to $29.99 to buy UFC 242 on pay-per-view in Ireland.
It's craziness.
Sanity. Absolutely.
What they're like, oh my god. I don't want to talk about that. It's fucking.
If any streams, lads, send them on to us.
I'm honestly, I'm not going to pay that ever. And I'm going to just continue watching how I always watched before UK and Irish TV even had MMA. But it's annoying even just hearing that they're trying to do this to people. It's just it's crazy. You pay the subscription every month for how many years since the UFC came, and then all of a sudden every time there's a decent fight on, they're fucking they're throwing a 30 quid charge at you. Come on.
Absolutely scandalous. But sure, there you go anyway. Right, that's the end of this betting podcast. Hope you all enjoyed it. Tell the people if you enjoyed the video and stuff. We might do it every month. We might, we'll see. We'll see how well it goes. We'll see if people like it or not. It's a bit awkward for Graeme there. He's a bit of a curmudgeon giving out and stuff anyway. But sure, look, the talent is here anyway. And the fight should be good tomorrow night. You can follow Graeme at SevereMMA over on Twitter. Follow me at Sean Sheehan BA.
Of the Champions of Europe.
The Champions of Europe.
Liverpool.
I was going to wear my Man United jersey. Fuck it, I forgot. Fuck it. Next time. All right, everybody. Thanks very much for listening.
You'd be a laughing stock wearing that thing.
Thanks very much for watching as well.
They couldn't give them away these days.
Fucks. I actually got it on sale.
I'm surprised you bought it. It'd be good for wiping up the floor, I suppose.
How dare you. Right, everybody. We'll see you. Good luck.